Hello everyone and welcome back to the audio. Sorry if I sound weird, I am still very ill, so if the audio randomly cuts out, it's because I have to cough or make a horrible sound. But yeah, today we're just going to talk about Holy Relics, and we're just going to go over which ones I think are, I guess, 100% worth getting. There are some that are like, you don't really need to get them, but I do recommend you get every relic, especially if you can do all the demonic beasts at the highest level. I definitely recommend you go for every relic, not only for the CC, but the GP points you get from relics is very good, and I'd say it's one of the better ways to get GP points if you're a newer player. So first we'll go to Bird. Lilia's one. Once again, if any character has an LR, it's always worth grabbing their relic. This Arthur one's also pretty good for the odd PvE content where Arthur's used for. Once again, LR Escanor, it's always worth grabbing LR's relic. There's not really other. No, actually, yeah, this Merlin one's really good, which is increase unknown race allies damage dealt by 35%, and it works in the back. You can run that with Green Merlin, which will then increase your all gauge by 1 at the start of the battle, which is pretty good as well. And it's just generally good for certain content. If you need to ult rush with unknowns, there, boom, you get extra damage. Maybe it's not as good as the 30% basic stats you can get from Nanashi, but it's still not too bad. These ones, no. Valenti's Relic's good to have because she has a rat variant. That's really it for Valenti. Megelda, once again, she's the demonic beast character, so you should be buying her relic anyway. She should be the first relic you get. Brynhild isn't too bad. Is it really worth it in terms of, like, is it useful? Not really. Brynhild isn't really used anymore. Same with this Gotha. This Gotha's relic's really good, but he's just not used anymore. Jenna, if you've got Jenna, it's always worth to grab her relic. I don't have Jenna, so of course I can't get her relic, which is the bane of my existence. Zeneri, it's okay. It's just nice to have for CC. Hawk and Oslo, it's actually worth to grab once again if you are running like a Chaos mode team where you're using Green Hawk and Oslo. The 15% HP is kind of always nice because once again it's not linked to a race and it just works in the back as well. Twigo is always nice to have. Taunt, good if you're running an alt rush team in Chaos mode or in any sort of content like that. It's always nice to have a decent Taunt character. I think that's really it. Yeah, that's really it for Bird. There isn't many, like, super broken ones. Of course, when you are farming demonic beasts, make sure the first relic you get for that demonic beast is the demonic beast specialist character's relic. So, for example, for Bird, it's Megelda, so you want to grab Megelda's relic, even though I guess, you could say for Rat, there is no Rat relic for Valenti, but Valenti is the current Rat character, but it's still worth to grab her relic, even though it's a 40% attack boost if it's maxed out, and realistically, you're going to max it out, and Valenti can actually put out some quite decent damage with her release effect. On to Deer. I'm surprised I haven't coughed yet. Once again, an LR, always worth to grab. This Liz relic is actually pretty good, even though it only works for Goddess Liz. It just makes her shield stronger, which is even more irritating. Liz is a horrible character to deal with. Increasing her relic and making it stronger is really going to make someone really irritated. This King one's nice if you don't have if you still have to run the B-Tech Rat team. You kind of need this then. This one's kind of nice only because it boosts her CC. Any characters have a Grace as well, or any sort of really just anyone who has a Grace, it's always worth to pick up their relic because once again, when you use them for their Grace, you'll get more basic stats. Margaret's one, it's worth it. It increases Archangel's damage. Also, she's got an LR variant as well. Retarmio, once again, all these links all worth grabbing because they'll have Graces. LR Liz, 100% worth it. 15% HP related stats. That also includes lifesteal, which is something kind of broken, to be honest. 15% lifesteal boost, especially for the fact it works in the back. And Liz has really good CC. Okay, we are back. Okay. Jormungand's relic, once again, she's the demonic beast specialist character for Deer, so it's always worth grabbing her relic. Oh, okay, this Danafor is really worth it as well. So this Danafor is the one that gives you the 50% attack boost. Once again, it doesn't work in PvP, but it works everywhere else, and it's always really nice to have. 50% attack, and the fact that she works in the back as well, once again, it is better than Nanashi, especially if you can guarantee that three-turn clear on whatever you're doing, because Nanashi will only provide you with 30% attack from 30% basic stats from its relic, whereas in she can provide 50% attack for 3 turns. It is a buff though, so once again, if you are playing content that does passively remove buffs, or does remove buffs, maybe Nanashi is still a better one to keep in the back. If you want to run Lance with Fairies, you will need this Hellbrim's Relic, increase Fairies' basic stats by 20%, and also works in the back. That's really it for Deer. Deer doesn't really have too many. It's only got 18 relics, and Bird has 37. On to dogs. Scotty's one once again quite nice to have, especially with Blue Scotty, because Blue Scotty is quite good for Rat. This Dian's quite nice, the Ragnarok Dian, only because it's got the damage cap for Ragnarok characters, which is pretty handy. Pretty much only for Chaos mode, but it's still quite nice to have. If you want to run a Giants team, you will need this relic for Matrona, because the 25% basic stat boost is insane. Charles one's pretty nice to have, Cusack one's useless. Once again, I must get Nanashi's. This Tonar is the Don't Want to Be Specialist character, so you also want to grab her relic as well as the first relic. King's one, pretty good. It's just a basic stat boost and a damage. No, then increase. Oh, it's 15% basic stats. Okay, I thought it was 10. So yeah, this one's also quite worth it as well for both kings. I know this king only starts with the shield once, and after the shield's broken, it's broken. But 15% basic stats is kind of nice, especially if you're going first as well as the damage dealt as well. The more damage, the better, basically. And same with this king. This king sort of needs it just for the CC. One of his relics okay. Once again, Elog locks. It's just worth to grab it. And once again, he's used in PvP, so it's not the worst, and this does boost, once again, Lance's basic stats, which is sort of another reason you'd want it. And then Hawk's completely useless. Now on to Nidhoggr. So they only had 15, this is 14. Okay, they're just releasing less and less every time. Yeah. Okay, now on to Nidhoggr. Melascalis is quite nice. Once again, quite gimmicky, but it does only work for red, but it's quite gimmicky and it's quite good. Freya, once again, she is the Don't Want to Be Specialist character, so it is worth to grab hers first, as you can see here. Don't Want to Be Specialist. Once again, Elorzel, his relic is actually really good as well. Both variants of Zell can use the relic as well, because it does say here removal of Volt Gauge, or removal of Volt Gauge through his commandment, which is what you can also get it from as well. But yeah, it's actually pretty good. This Zell's relic's okay. A.M. Melly's relic, if you want to run A.M. Melly, you will need his relic. Without his relic, he's useless. With his relic, he's actually not too bad. He's really irritating to deal with, especially if you let him build up. You put him on like a decently tanky team, you give him Gelder, you give him Demi, then you put like Nanashi in back. He can be really tanky and really irritating to deal with. Lost Vein, you want Lost Vein's relic. Without his relic, he's even more useless than what he is now. He really struggles with damage reduction, but as long as you get his relic, he's not the worst. Queen Diane's one. Once again, she's just recently got an LR variant. With this relic, she is a force to be reckoned with, and I 100% recommend, after you get like Freya's relic, you grab this relic first. You grab this relic after Freya's relic. Really good. Liz's relic, completely useless. It's once again, it's light Liz. She won't see any play, maybe in Chaos mode every now and again, but that's it. Freya's relic, really good. Basic stat boost, single target damage increase. Once again, he can also be used for full floor of Bird, so he's pretty good. Pretty good relic to grab. I would recommend it. Roxy's one worth it. Astoris' one worth it. Wolfspeed's one's also pretty good as well, for the odd piece of content here and there. Merlin's one is you need to grab Merlin's one. If you want to run Sins, she is Sins backline support, and she's actually pretty good. The basic stat boost to 15% is pretty good, because Sins, even though they have Gotha, they don't really have insane basic stat boosting. Most of their passives do boost their own basic stats, though, which is sort of saying it's a pretty common occurrence with Sins, and even just general meta characters, they only increase their own stats. And now we're on to Rat. So Rat only has 6 relics currently. I would actually recommend most of them. Miles one, it's 100% worth it. It makes Nidhoggr farming easy. And once again, if Goddess has ever come back, he will definitely need his relic. Triton Melee, once again, now he's been replaced for Bird Floor 4. I don't really think it's worth it. It's good, like it's quite good, but I just personally don't think it's worth it. I would not touch, and unless you can farm Rat like something that I can do. Like, you're quite high box EC, I would not grab Derrieres. It's not worth it. If you do want to run Green Camilla, you do also want her relic as well. Mainly for the attack boost, but also the enemy attack lower, which is pretty handy. Hell's relic, if you do want to run Hell, you will need her relic. Without her relic, she will struggle to crit. With her relic, she'll crit pretty well. Her damage, once again, crit damage, crit chance boost, up to 50%, which is quite a bit. Especially for, like, even nowadays, 50% crit chance and crit damage is something you see on, like, Demon King Melee, right? But his is a 50% attack related stats, but, you know, Hell's relic is actually pretty good. And also Hell's skill, I thought it's called, but her single target skill, like, increases your attack by a lot anyway, so it's fine. Actually, increase your attack related stats. And Queen Liz's relic, it's the newest one, it's okay. Unfortunately, goddesses aren't really meta at the moment. If you have Queen Liz quite high duped, it might be pretty good. It's actually quite a nice CC boost for her as well, because unfortunately she was the last SSR festival, and of course being that, you immediately have disadvantage of generally most characters being significantly higher CC, higher damage, and just, insane power creep in a very short period of time, and that's unfortunately something that Liz did suffer with. But once again, with her relic, it's good damage, like, it's not bad at all. But once again, we need to wait for goddesses to become meta again, or sins, because unfortunately, actually it is quite fortunate, because for Liz, she works with goddesses and the sins, which is quite good. Also, her passive works with humans as well, because she's the queen of, technically, the humans, as you could say. And Melly's technically the king as well. So that human bit is quite nice. Unfortunately, her relic doesn't work with that, which is slightly sad. I do wish it also sort of worked with humans as well, or just said applicable allies. That would have just been quite nice. But it's still a good relic. It's definitely not the worst. The attack-related stat boost is quite nice. Removing 2 debuffs is always going to be quite handy. Especially for characters like if Sab's in meta, because she's still a very good tank. Fairies have a lot of debuffs. You got Glocks. That's really it. But generally for relics, as long as you're grabbing either meta-relevant characters or just demonic beast specialists, PvE specialists, characters like that, if you're grabbing their relics, you're going to be fine for most content. When it comes to upgrading relics, once again, it's all preference. If you want to go cheapest way, collaboration relics are the cheapest ones to upgrade, because it doesn't cost you the little pizza slices here. But most relics is quite good. I do recommend, if you can complete every demonic beast to the highest difficulty, it is worth grabbing every relic in the game. Only because it's a lot of GP points. CC isn't the most, but mainly for GP points. You get 10 GP points per relic. Like, there's 20, there's 35. You add another 15 on top of that. Well, you're at 50. You're at 53 now. 53 plus 37. It's a lot of relics. There's 90 relics. So what's that? That's 900 GP points. That, on the constellation just before my one, is 3 large orbs. Even on my constellation, that's 2 large orbs. That is a lot of progress. And it's always worth grabbing them. A little bit extra rogue CC, push you a little bit further, you'll be able to push further in PvP, you out-CC more people. It's always worth to grab every relic. But just make sure you're grabbing the better relics first, before you end up grabbing all the other sort of like filler relics like these here. Anyway, thank you for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next one. Goodbye.